Round 6 of the Nebula F1 2016 Championship landed in Austria for a thrilling race around the high-speed Red Bull Ring. In qualifying, the Force India of Kieran Chadwick was quickest, posting a 1:12.8 and going 0.2 quicker than Sam Carpenter, who joins him on the front row in the Haas for a one-off race. After that, however, the gaps in qualifying times grew much smaller, with 3rd through 8th separated by less than 0.3. On row 2, it's Kraus and Knighton Shepard in 5th, and followed by Baxter and Martinez down in 6th and 7th respectively. Hebsgaard was slowest of the drivers to set a time, and Bodden and Davison round out the top 10. As the rain fell and the lights went green, the lead drivers became locked in battle, with Carpenter going around the outside of turn 2 to take the early lead. Chadwick fought back at turn 2, but Sam had his number and maintained the position. Further down the field, the cars were running very close and struggling to deal with the spray and low visibility, although challenging, the start had been clean, with all drivers making it through the first few corners. At the end of the first lap, Panaman had a poor exit and was forced to defend the inside line at turn 1 unsuccessfully from Poulsen, although Panaman would gain a position back after a spin from Davison sent him into the barrier, where he lost the wheel and retired. Later that lap, Knighton looked to be running well in 3rd position with not much of a gap ahead, but caught a tank slapper and dropped down the order, but at least with all 4 wheels still on the car. Shortly after rejoining the race behind Martinez, the Red Bull made a move on the Williams of Bodden at the exit of turn 1, and Knighton followed, moving back up into 9th. Knighton was clearly unsatisfied with 9th and quickly turned his focus toward Martinez. The Red Bull defended the inside of turn 2 and turn 3, and Knighton seemed to have the move done despite some minor contact, but another oversteer moment at the exit of turn 5 undid all of his hard work. Lap 5, and a mistake from Carpenter at turn 3 gifts the lead of the race back to the pole sitter. Not long after, there was a collision between the two leaders, and while Carpenter was able to continue, Chadwick had to wait for traffic before rejoining the circuit safely. Carpenter was now running second and being pressured by Hebsgaard. The Sauber pulled ahead on the run down toward turn 3, but once again there was contact, and Hebsgaard ended up in the gravel and down several positions. Lap 8, and after starting the race from the pit lane, the McLaren of Kraus makes an overtake on Taylor for P11. 2 laps later, and Carpenter has caught up to Baxter and makes a move at the inside of turn 2 to retake the lead of the race. Meanwhile, Chadwick isn't far behind in 4th, but is finding the Ferrari difficult to overtake. That same lap, the Williams boys swapped positions as Rice took Bawden's P8 with relative ease, and Kraus continued his charge, taking P10 from Penniman despite minor contact at the exit of the first corner. A few laps later, Penniman's day went from bad to worse as he spun and made contact with the barrier in the final sector and dropped to P13. On lap 14, the McLaren of Knighton was able to reclaim one of his lost positions as the Renault of Wilmer went a bit deep into turn 2. Meanwhile, Chadwick was making a move on the Ferrari of Shepard with a cutback at turn 2 and with the inside line for turn 3, moving the Force India back into a podium position and with just one car between himself and Carpenter. A bit further behind, Kraus put the moves on Bawden, but after some contact at turn 5, the Williams was sent spinning off into the gravel. Lap 15, and Penniman, while a lap down from his own teammate, suffered another spin, was lapped by Kraus and Rice, who were battling for 9th until Kraus pitted for a fresh set of wet tires. Lap 18 in the battle for P2 is hotting up as Chadwick tries to make the move at the inside of turn 2, but Baxter fights back and maintains the position. Lap 25 now, and Carpenter pits but gets a bit too aggressive with his pit entrance and receives a penalty, removing him from contention of the race win. The drivers were unsure of the weather and many stayed out, but Chadwick followed Sam into the pits for a fresh set of wets on his Force India as well. Lap 26 and Baxter pits, but the undercut was too strong and comes out behind Chadwick, who had been running well since lap 19. "35th and final lap of the race, and Baxter has caught Chadwick on the run down toward turn 2. Chadwick defends the inside, but Baxter gets a much better exit out of the corner. The Force India stays in the middle of the circuit, and Baxter seems unsure what to do. There's light contact, and Baxter takes the inside line into turn 3. Another cutback, this time from Chadwick, sees the pair side by side into 4, but Chadwick understandably struggles to go around the outside. Carpenter is first across the line, but with his penalties, the win will go to Baxter, and after more contact just before the finish line, Chadwick limps across the line to take second place with 3 wheels on the car. Meanwhile, Shepard took home 3rd position and is followed by Martinez and Hebsgaard. The closest battle across the line, though, was between Wilmer and Rice, who were separated by just a few thousandths of a second. In the end, less than 60 seconds separated the top 10 and less than 10 seconds separated the top 4 as Baxter claimed his 4th victory of the season and extended his lead at the top of the championship to 32 points. Chadwick holds on to 2nd in the standings with his 2nd place finish, and Carpenter maintains 3rd with a 14-point gap to Kraus and Martinez not far behind. That's going to do it for the Round 6 highlights from Austria. Join us for Round 7 from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada.